but saying, in the scriptures tell you in Revelation 17, even after Babylon is destroyed, that power going to be with the 10 horns for a space of 1 hour to let you know Europe is going to be ruling at the very end, even once America is already smoking. Use your brain. If you travel around the world, it's amazing looking when you travel around the world how the people who are in charge have a base every place for refuge. There's embassies from other countries all around the earth. You can be in another country and find an embassy. Every place you go, you see the guys dressed in all black, the Jewish guys, with the curly locks. Any place you go, anywhere in the world, you will find them there. They got refuge every place. It's only them making campaigns in America saying, why don't you send the Jews back to Israel? And have the churches raising all this money so that they can pay for the people who are destroying everyone to get out of danger. But yet the real Jews, there's no program to get them out of danger. Wake up. Read.
Thus were the miserable people persuaded by these deceivers, and such as belied the Most High himself, while they did not attend nor give credit to the signs that were so evident, and did so plainly foretell their future desolation, but, like men infatuated, without either eyes to see or minds to consider, did not regard the denunciations that the Most High made to them.
He says they did not regard the denunciations the Most High made to them. They were so busy listening to the man and the people saying, just stay still. They forgot that Christ told them, when you see armies around you, get up out of there. Read.
Thus, there was a star resembling a sword, which stood over the city, and a comet that continued a whole year. Thus also before the...
Now hold up. Josephus said, before the Romans came in to destroy the children of Israel, the Most High had signs and had the stars the shape of a sword over Jerusalem to let them know to get up out of there. Now don't forget, Esau's gift would be the sword. So the Most High was telling Israel, Esau is about to kill you. Get out of Jerusalem. A month before it happened, a year before it happened, you see a sword in the sky telling them to leave. Read.
Thus there was a star resembling a sword.
There was a star looking like a sword. Read.
Which stood over the city, and a comet that continued a whole year.
And it continued a whole year warning the people, but yet they wasn't listening. Here it is, we looking out in the sky, and it tell you during the time of the coming of our Lord that the moon would be turned to blood. 2 nights in a row you see the moon red like blood. And no one is perceiving that it's time, it's war. Read.
Thus also before the Jews' rebellion, and before those commotions which preceded the war, when the people were coming great crowds at the feast of unleavened bread, on the 8th day of the month Xanthicus, and at the 9th hour of the night, so great a light shone up round about the altar and the holy house, that it appeared to be bright daytime, which lasted for half an hour. This light seemed to be a good sign to the naive, but was so interpreted by the sacred scribes as to portend those events that followed immediately upon it. At that same festival also, a heifer, as she was led by the high priest to be sacrificed, brought forth a lamb in the midst of the temple. Moreover, the eastern gate of the inner court of the temple, which was of brass, and vastly heavy, and had been with difficulty shut by 20 men, and rested upon a base covered with iron, and had bolts fastened very deep in the firm floor, which was there made of entire stone, was seen to be opened of its own accord about the 6th hour of the night. Now those that kept watch in the temple came but running to the captain of the temple, and told him of it, who then came up there, and not without great difficulty was able to shut the gate again. This also appeared to the vulgar to be a very happy prodigy, as if the Most High did thereby open them the gate of happiness. But the men of learning understood it, that the security of the holy house was dissolved of its own accord.
So the Most High was showing them that they had no more protection. You had some people seeing the signs for what it was, and other people looking at it as a sign of comfort, saying, well, we can stay. So there's two ways to look at things. You got the doers and the people who just sit pat and say they're exercising faith, doing nothing. Go ahead.
But the men of learning understood it.
But the men of learning understood that it was a sign to get up out of there. Did they have one guy in particular? Let's go straight to that guy. That one guy that came with that false prophecy.
One guy with false prophecy. That we just read about.
We read him, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's one more here. One more. Yeah, go ahead. Get there.
So these publicly declared that the signal foreshadowed the desolation that was coming upon them.
So people knew that these were signs leading to the desolation that would come upon our people according to Luke the 21st chapter. Read.
Besides these, a few days after the feast, on the 21st day of the month Artemisius, a certain great and incredible phenomenon appeared. I suppose the account of it would seem to be a fable, were it not related by those that saw it, and were not the events that followed it of so considerable a nature as to deserve such signals.
What was the signal?
For before sunsetting, chariots and troops of soldiers in their armor were seen, running about among the clouds.
So the Most High had chariots in the sky. There were ships in the sky as a sign for the people. Now people are seeing chariots all the time and don't take heed that it's a sign. Read.
For before sunsetting, chariots and troops of soldiers in their armor were seen, running about among the clouds, and surrounding of cities.
And surrounding the cities. Go ahead.
Moreover, at the feast which we call Pentecost, as the priests were going by night into the inner court of the temple, as their custom was to perform their sacred ministrations, they said that in the first place they felt a quaking and heard a great noise, and after that they heard a sound of a great multitude saying, let us remove from here. But what is still more terrible was that one Jesus, the son of Ananias, a plebeian and a husbandman, who 4 years before the war began, and at that time, when the city was in very great peace and prosperity, came to that feast whereon it is our custom for everyone to make tabernacles in the temple, and to the Most High in the temple, and began on a sudden to cry aloud, a voice from the east, a voice from the west, a voice from the four winds, a voice against Jerusalem, the holy house, a voice against the bridegrooms and the brides, and a voice against his whole people. This was his cry, and he went about day by day and by night, in all the lanes of the city. However,
they had one guy just going throughout the whole city crying. The Most High had a spirit on him telling him, it's coming. It's going to be a destruction. We're going to be killed. You know, people look at him, look, he lost his mind. He crazy. What's wrong with you? This is how our people was. Hey, get away from me. This is our people. Looking at this guy with his spirit on him, totally ignoring what's going on here. Read. Read that last part there. Right there.
It says, moreover, at the feast which we call Pentecost, as the priests were going by night into the inner court of the temple, as their custom was to perform their sacred ministrations, they said in the first place, they felt a quaking and heard a great noise, and after that they heard a sound as of a great multitude
it was
saying,
a sound saying, read.
let us remove from here.
So something was telling everyone to remove. It was a spirit, excuse me, that was telling people to move. It was an earthquake. It's crazy, man. And it's all in Josephus. But you had prophets who was paid by the tyrant to tell the people to stay still. Give them the chapter again. They can look in the book of Josephus to see what happened to us in 70.